Ladies and gentlemen, now we are honored to invite you to dive into the content of episode 10 of this story, through the reading and analysis of Teen Shadow. Mainland China, Shangjian River at the Crescent Bluff. A Luan was pulling out the wild grass growing around the grave right beside the base of a lush guava tree heavy with fruit. On the stone tablet at the grave, the inscription read, Nung Ting Nakai Mother. Standing from the Crescent Bluff, one could see the entire view of the Zhujiang River. 2 months had passed since the natural disaster devastated the Zhujiang River. Now boats bustled back and forth across the river. Trade between Kimjiang and Kimson was thriving. People from Kimson frequently came here to buy cloth, brocade, and silk from Huang Kimjiang to take back and sell. In addition, under the leadership of the head of Huang Kimson, Vong Kai, the people of Kimson were very enthusiastic in supporting the people of Huang Kimjiang build service works, agriculture, and trade. However, the head of Huang Kimjiang, Mr. Lam, still wished to preserve the ancient beauty of the Bai ethnic group. Therefore, the relics, along with the murals on the houses, were all kept intact. The people of Kimjiang also agreed with this. In just 2 months, everything had changed in a positive direction. From the people to the scenery, everything was flourishing. There was only one thing that constantly troubled Aluan, and that he could never explain. It was the fact that all the residents of Fhuong, Kimjiang and Kimson, every single person, had no memory of Master Leon's existence. Even those who had once been close to Master Leon, like Mr. Lum, the physician couple, the grandfather and granddaughter Tu Nguyet, or even Madame Lalan, they had no idea who Master Leon was. When Master Leon was mentioned, their faces would turn pensive, deep in thought, and in the end, they would ask a question. Who is Master Leon? Is he from Huang Kimjiang or Huang Kimson? I've never heard of that name before. Aluan gently held a blade of grass in his palm, gazing toward the Chaojiang River, wheel of life. Has everyone really forgotten? Why is it that I still remember? Has it been too unfair to Master? Is that Leon already? You're not the only one who remembers. We remember too. A voice called out from behind. It was a very familiar voice. Aluan paused and cautiously turned his head. The one who had spoken was Vong Kai, the owner of Wonglan Jewelry Shop and also the head of Huang Kimson, son. Not only Vong Kai but also A. Aluan smiled with a gentle expression and replied, The head of the village, a Tien, Tiu Long. You brought the two of them here, didn't you, right? Tiu Long nodded and answered, Yes, Head Phuong came over here to look for you, but couldn't find you. You were at the Crescent Cliff, so we brought him here. Here, Vong Kai, Tien, Tiu Long stood in front of the graves of Nha Ting and her mother, bowing their heads in respect. Tiu Long reached up and picked a guava. The large guava tree cast a cool shade, covering the entire grave where Nunting and her mother were buried. The ripe guavas were golden yellow, exuding a rich fragrance. Gently touching the trunk of the guava tree, Tien said, Aluan, do you remember when we dug the grave to bury Nunting and her mother? What Master Leon said? Aluan nodded and replied, I remember, back then. Master Leon said, when the guava tree bears fruit, the souls of the mother and daughter would be liberated. After Kovan died, it seemed that Master Leon's wish had been fulfilled. O Mang Kwan was the beginning, and now Mamban Guyet is the place where it all ends. For the grudge and hatred between the two Huang Kim, in the end, our Bak clan was able to attain a life of peace. All of it was thanks to Master Leon. Indeed yet, but Vong Kai patted Aluan's shoulder, his eyes looking at, still pondering about the lives of the local people, Phuong, and how no one seemed to remember the existence of Master Leon. Luan said, Right, Boss Vong, the Bak clan owes everything they have today in their lives and more entirely to Master Leon. Yet when I mention him, even people like Mr. Lam, such as, who is a physician, not a single person remembers. It's as if Master Leon never even existed, never even appeared here. As for the people from Kim Son, I don't dare to blame them in any way. But the folks from Kimjiang, it was just not long ago. It's really not actually that long. Everyone revered Master from Bak Hakson. But now no one remembers Master Leon anymore. What is going on? Phuong Kai let out a soft sigh. Long. I cannot explain this problem. But you're actually wrong to say that no one remembers. Master Leon, isn't it true here there are 4 people who still remember Master Leon? The memories of Master Leon among the people of Kimjiang and Kim Son have gradually faded from everyone's minds, except for just the 4 of us. Those who once had a connection with the 5 gods. This reminds me of a saying. When I transformed into the golden god, the god tribe will always exist as long as evil still persists. It means that as long as Kopan, who is not dead, the god tribe will continue to appear among the Bai people. It's just like Master Leon. Although the vast majority of the Bai people no longer remember anything about Master Leon, still, Master Leon still exists in the memories of the 4 of us. And we are the ones responsible for preserving and passing down these memories, just like how the ancestors of the Bai people left behind traces of mythology. In the caves, the origin. Everyone, look toward the Zhujiang River. What a truly beautiful sight it is. Magnificent it is. Let's look at the present and strive to build the future. As for the past, sometimes, there are things best forgotten. If you remember Master Leon as evil, then remember Master Leon as good. Master Leon was a person of virtue and kindness, saving others without regard for himself, seeking neither gratitude nor repayment. Now, he is perhaps somewhere far, far away from us. However, if he could see the beautiful scenery right before us now, Master Leon would surely be very happy. As long as just one person remembers Master Leon, the legend of Master Leon will live on forever. A Luan, a Tien, and Little Long all nodded after hearing what Phuong Kai said, their faces lighting up with bright smiles. The sun had already risen, sunlight on the surface of the Chaojiang River, making the entire river shimmer with a golden hue, so absolutely, incredibly, dazzlingly beautiful. It could steal one's very soul. A Luan quickly wiped away a tear that was about to fall. A Luan, known as the strongest warrior, known as the warrior, the strongest of the White Clan, also has a time so sentimental. But it was understandable, for in the battle against Kovan, he was the one who invoked the White Tribe's oath to protect Master Leon with his own life. Boss. Phuong's words had helped a Luan feel as if he had cast off all the worries weighing on his heart. Thank you, Boss Phuong. Atien clicked his tongue and said, A Luan, you're calling him wrong. Now you should call him Village Chief Phuong. The Phuonglon jewelry has transferred over to his son already. He's no longer Village Chief Phuong anymore. It was still that same humorous way of speaking from Atien. Luan replied, You chatterbox. Looks like the situation over in Kim's son. You seem to know it all too well, huh? Tien laughed heartily. Of course. After all, I've had experience traveling between the 2 villages long before everyone else. Ignoring Atien's chatter, Luan turned to ask Phuong Kai, By the way, Tu Long said Chief Phuong to find me. What's up? Phuong Kai replied, I and Mr. Lamp and I were agreed to build an additional berth. Boats on Huang Kim Gyang's side. I want to meet him to discuss further about the choice. Choose a location. This needs to be done urgently, as Jiang River more convenient and river easier, and also make it simpler to monitor the number of boats docking at Kim Jiang's shores. Luan nodded. This is truly a great idea. Thank you, Village Chief Phuong. Over the past period, Village Chief Phuong has helped us a great deal. All right, let's head back to the village and discuss the next steps. Village Chief Phuong, Xiaolong, let's go. Luan, Phuong Kai, and Xiaolong left the crescent cliff. Luan carried Xiaolong on his back, chatting happily with Phuong Kai as they walked. Meanwhile, T stood there bewildered, reaching out and calling, Hey everyone, guys, I'm still here. I have something I want to say too. Wait for me. With that, Ati quickly ran after him. Phuong Kai pretended to turn back and asked, All right, what do you want to say? Abdo Tien scratched his head, his face flushing red, and stammered, then reply, Well, in 3 days I'm getting married to Tu Mai. Luan and Tu Long covered their mouths, giggling. Luan blurted out, What? That news? We already know. Atay was surprised. How did you all find out right now? I just announced it. A moment ago, Aluan laughed and replied, is that so? But old Wu, as you know, already announced it to everyone in the village yesterday. Yesterday, you were probably still busy scouting the situation over at Kimson, right? But anyway, congratulations. This is something the people of Kimjiang have been eagerly waiting for, because this is the very first marriage alliance between Kimjiang and Kimson after 20 years separation. Phuong Kai, the head of Kimson village, also smiled warmly and said to Atian, Aluan is right. The people of Kimson are also eagerly looking forward to the wedding between you and Tio Mai. We will fully support you. Congratulations, Ati. Ati was overjoyed, his eyes brimming with tears, thanked everyone to express his gratitude. The four went to the village. As they approached Mr. Lam's house, the head of Kimjiang village, a little girl appeared ahead, running toward them while waving and calling out, Tio Long, I'm looking for you. Everywhere. The little girl was Tiun Guyet, the niece of the village elder. She ran up close. Tio Long said, as he paused for a moment and then continued, yesterday you promised me the peach blossoms, but... Tio Long now happily replied, Tio, I'll take you there. Hey! Tio Long bowed politely. Village Chief Fhuong, then he and Atian held hands, slowly heading toward Bak. Crane, the days of love are red and mixed with other. Green? As she walked slowly, she recalled, Shopkeeper Fhuong. Was there a shop around here that sold flowers for an 8-year-old girl? If so, could... Please, Boss Fhuong, kindly take me there. A warm smile. Fhuong Kai softly said, Master Leon, you are truly thoughtful. The people of the Bak clan will forever be grateful to you. No matter where you are, we definitely hope you will continue to... protect us, always. Cham Temple from Cham Mountain, 8 DDM. Master Leon, the temple's generous and esteemed benefactor, had decided to leave the temple. It's truly heartbreaking. Here, we have some rice balls. Please take them with you to eat. Along the way, Master Quang Tam handed the bundle of rice balls to Master Leon, then said, Master Leon, please bow your head to Elder Monk Quang Tam and Hunan. Master Leon replied, Many you, Master Quang Tam. Thank you, Hunan. Now, it's time for me to go. Even though, in my heart, I really want to stay here. The scenic beauty of Tram Pagoda, it truly indeed makes it really hard for one to leave. The great elder monk Quang Tam gently nodded. Amitabha Buddha. Master Leon, may I ask, where do you exactly intend to go after leaving Tram Pagoda? Without hesitation, Master Leon replied, Venerable Master Quang Tam, I am on my way, heading southwest. If you have any requests, please just tell... Master Quang Tam fell silent after hearing this. The respected venerable abbot of Tram Pagoda closed his eyes, bowed his head to Master Leon, saying, Amitabha Buddha, Master Leon, you are truly our benefactor, wishing you a safe journey. Master Leon bowed his head respectfully and returned to the venerable elder monk. Master Leon wore a woven straw hat, carried a cloth bag, wore cloth shoes, and bid farewell to Tram Pagoda, then continued heading southwest. Watching Master Leon's figure disappear behind up and down stone steps, venerable elder monk looked up at the sky earnestly, respectfully, saving all beings, saving humanity. Oh, Amitabha Buddha, isi. Hunan, come with me to sow beans at Huangjiang and experience the beauty of the countryside. In the village of Phuong Bai, at the same time after the heavy rain last night, the sky and earth now had dried up. However, the weather was gloomy with a light mist. So even though it was already 8 a.m., the scene in the village was desolate and shrouded in haze. Mr. Ka had just ridden his bicycle home after going to commune to buy some goods. He parked his bike under a mango tree and grabbed bag. Mr. Ka clicked his tongue and sighed deeply, then said, Good heavens, what's going on these past few days? What's wrong? The rain is unpredictable. Today, Even if you try not to worry, just a little of this. Just really sad. Mrs. Hong carried a basket of boiled vegetables to the water tank. Washing them while waving her hand, she replied, "You're back already, right? Were you able to buy the medicine for me?" Mr. Carr took a bottle of chlorate medicine out of his bag and handed it to his wife, saying, "Here it is. I had to ride my bike all the way to the commune health station to get it. Wait for me. There wasn't even a meeting today. With things like this, I don't know what we're supposed to do. And are you planning to use the medicine for that cat?" Mrs. Hong nodded immediately. "I saw its leg was slightly injured. The wound was swollen and festering. I ground the medicine into powder and applied it to the wound for the past few days, but it stopped eating and lay there. It's pitiful. By the way, did you switch shifts with Thuan this morning?" "Oh, that poor little kid indeed. Having to work early and still pull night shifts. You should talk to the elders and tell them to scrap those night shifts. The young guys aren't scared, but sitting there alone at night is terrifying." Mr. Carr clicked his tongue. "I think so too. This morning, around that time, I didn't see any report." "Think so? This morning I saw no order at all. Probably because it rained last night, so they didn't stand watch either. Today I'll tell the elders that there's no one on duty and we should just night lying at home worrying. But see if there's any leftover rice and give me a bowl. After I eat, I have an appointment to work with Comrade Man at the public school office. They scheduled it for 9:30. Mrs. Hong wiped her hands and then went into the kitchen to get rice for Mr. Carr. Just as he was about to step up onto the porch, Mr. Carr heard someone calling from outside. "Cam! Uncle Carr! Uncle Carr!" Peeking out, Mr. Carr was surprised to see person standing there calling him was none other than Thuan. Hurrying out, Mr. Carr immediately asked, "Oh, Thuan, why are you still here at this hour? Today, you're not working?" Thuan quickly replied, "I fell asleep. I remember clearly that set the alarm clock for 2 a.m. Go on duty, but somehow it didn't ring. I slept straight through until after 7 before wake up. Where are you going to work now, Uncle? My money. Stopped by to apologize to you because I didn't show up for my shift last night. I'm really sorry." Mr. Carr sighed. "It rained heavily last night too. I figured that the kids like you wouldn't be able to go outside. And honestly, I think this night shift duty isn't working out. I'll probably have to petition the elders to cancel it. By the way, are you heading to work? At this hour, you won't get there until 9 How about you wait for me a bit? I'll give you a ride since I have some business at the local police." "Wait there, wait for me." With that, Mr. Carr quickly grabbed his bike. Mrs. Hong brought out bowl of rice, saw Thuan standing outside, and then noticed her husband about to leave right away, so she hurriedly said, "Here's your meal. Hey, eat first, then go." She served rice. "Then you can go." Hearing that, Mr. Carr replied, "Forget it. Leave it there. I'll eat later when I get back. Right now I'm taking Thuan the brick factory to commune police station. He overslept and now we're late. So that's how it'll be, all right?" With that, Mr. Carr wheeled his bike outside. "Hold on. You're strong. Wait for me. Okay? Bye. Sorry for the trouble." Thuan bowed his head, feeling a bit embarrassed. The two of them had just pedaled to the edge of the village when they ran into Man, who was riding his motorbike toward them. Mr. Carr patted Pat on the back and told him to stop for a moment. Comrade Man put his foot down and stopped. Mr. Carr waved to call out to Officer Man, telling him to stop. "Village Chief, what a stroke of luck. I was just about to go look for you." "I'm also looking for you," Mr. Carr replied. "I scheduled to meet at 9 at police station. On my way now." "I'm on my way up," Man immediately explained. Yes, that was the original plan. However, I was worried you might have a hard time getting around. I visited your village. Besides, there are a few things I want to discuss with you privately. We go home. You can definitely talk, right?" Mr. Carr nodded, looked at Thuan, then clicked his tongue and said, "Thuan, go get my bicycle to go to work. Remember to lock it carefully. When you pass by the house after work, return the bike to me. Right now, I have to go with the commune police chief to discuss some work." "Yes, sir." Thuan thanked Mr. Carr, politely greeted Lieutenant Man, then quickly pedaled off to the brick factory. Mr. Carr got on the bike with Man and gave him directions to his house. When they arrived, Mr. Carr welcomed Man inside. Mrs. Hong was chopping vegetables to boil. Her husband had just left and returned. She quickly asked, "Weren't you supposed to go to the commune office? Why are you back so soon?" As she spoke, she noticed someone wearing a police uniform. Mrs. Hong flustered. Which officer is this? Mr. Carr clicked his tongue thoughtfully and said, This is Comrade Man, the head of the commune police. He's come here to discuss something with me. Talk to me. She made me some tea. Let me receive the guests. Please come in. Man greeted them warmly and with a smile. Mrs. Hong and then followed Mr. Carr into the house. Man took out a stack of photographs of the scene, the school where Mr. Lam's death occurred. Owner of Lam Trang, gold shop on Huyen Street. Man to the point. Man asked you, Carr, are there any outsiders here? Want to see you alone because I don't want to. Confusing to everyone. Of course there is. That's why I just came to see you. Treat this like a normal conversation. It's normal, Mr. Carr immediately said. Stammered, Yes, what's the matter, comrade? Comrade, just say it. Ask me. I know what will answer. Man immediately continued. After verifying the identity, the police found out that the man who died beneath the grave yesterday was named Lam, the owner of a shop and the wealthiest man on Huyen Street. His death is shrouded in many mysteries. The initial cause of death was determined to be drowning. Mr. Lim's body showed no signs of injuries from beating or external force. At the scene yesterday, both you and I witnessed with our own eyes the black frog crawling out of Mr. Lum's mouth. At the same time, the victim's body kept twitching, secreting a pale, sticky mucus. This is commonly known as frog syndrome. It sounds unbelievable, but the truth is the frog has entered the nest. Not only that, it laid a large number of eggs, and even tadpoles appeared. Inside the corpse of the deceased. In the body of the dead is a police officers are well trained in anything supernatural until yesterday, into the unusual until the day. Yesterday, what I saw made me toss and turn all night, and this morning, I literally rushed down here to find you. Uncle Ka, I heard that before Mr. Lam there was already someone who died beneath the grave. Is that really true? Uncle Ka nodded and replied, That's right. I also understand that people like you don't believe in ghosts or anything supernatural. But since you've asked, I'll tell you the truth. That grave has already claimed a total of 2 lives. The first person to die beneath the grave was Nut, a guy who was a kid from Phuong Bai village, out hunting frogs that night in the cemetery. When he slipped, fell into the grave in a prone position, right until the next day that we managed to retrieve his body. Before that, no matter what we tried, we couldn't move the boy's body at all. But that wasn't even the scariest part, you know? After we brought the boy's body up, while I was cleaning his hands and feet for his family, a pitch-black frog suddenly jumped out. The pitch-black frog jumped out, just like that day. Yesterday, you and I were together. This was no coincidence. In Phuong Bai village, there have been some truly terrifying events. Man slightly flinched. If what Mr. Carr said is true, then clearly the 2 deaths at the same location are definitely not a coincidence. There must be a connection. Man asked Uncle Ka, yesterday afternoon I find out some information about the guy. Nut in Phuong Bai asked, besides the village cemetery, was there perhaps an ancient tomb that people used to say contained gold or some kind of very valuable treasure? Is that true? Mr. Ka immediately replied, Yes, our elders had a rumor about such a story. Besides the village cemetery, there is also an unclaimed tomb located right at the center of the cemetery area. As for gold or treasure, I really don't know how to say. If there really were gold there, our villagers wouldn't be living in poverty like we are now. You can see for yourself, compared to the neighboring villages, Phuong Bai has been falling further behind and growing poorer. So where would the gold come from? And why are you asking about this anyway? Man immediately replied, To be honest with you, yesterday afternoon when we contacted Mr. Lam's family and later he came to claim his relative's body, we had a conversation and learned that before that, Mr. Lam had been mentally unstable, not eating, not sleeping, and was obsessed with a single gold coin, constantly saying he would go find many more similar gold coins. Then he disappeared until his body was found at the Phuong Bai village cemetery. Alright, Uncle Ka, such a tragic situation has already happened. Now could you help me with something? With this, right? Mr. Ka swallowed hard. What is it? Man immediately said, Could you take me to the cemetery? Cemetery? I want to see the grave in the center. What is the cemetery like? Mr. Ka came 2 cemetery schools, but also extremely difficult, but he couldn't bring himself to refuse. Mr. Ka's voice trembled and said, "All right, but you must promise that once we get there, you'll just look and not touch anything, okay?" Man immediately nodded. "Don't worry, I got it. Let's go right now." Mrs. Hong jumped up and responded. Meanwhile, Mr. Ka and Man set off out of the house. It was close to 9 a.m., yet the sky was still overcast with no sunlight. Mr. Ka walked along, shivering, but with Man accompanying him, he felt easing the fear just a little. The path from the bridge crossing over the canal to the other side of the cemetery never felt far and difficult to walk as it did today. I don't know if it's because the cemetery is a place where the dead are buried, so the scenery here feels gloomy and cold, stifling, to the point of being harder to breathe than in other places. Or not. Both Mr. Ka and Man had their hair standing on end. As they passed Mrs. Van's grave, Man noticed a few scattered offerings on the ground. Bending down carefully to pick them up, Man said, "Why are there gold coins scattered here? Yesterday, everyone brought gold coins to burn for her." Mr. Ka shook his head and replied, "No, there's no way. When the comrades took the body away, the villagers had already dispersed and gone home. Honestly, the people of Phuong Bai village wouldn't dare come near this place." Man started to feel something was off. The closer they got to the grave at the center of the cemetery, the more gold coins were scattered around, and there were even several bundles of unused incense sticks. Mr. Ka stopped walking and pointed ahead. Peeking out from behind a few graves through the mist was a grave painted white, standing taller than all the other graves. That grave indeed. Over, like so. There, Man said, "Move forward," because he was so focused on looking at the grave. It wasn't until he was just a few steps away that Man tripped over something, causing him to stumble and fall. Body hit the ground. He crashed down, his body sinking into the dirt. The thing he had tripped over wasn't hard, but it wasn't too soft either. As Man pushed himself up and tried to stand up, he was horrified to realize that his hand had just touched the body of someone. "What is this?" Man cried out in panic, scrambling to his feet and stepping backward. Mr. Ka rushed over and asked, "Are you okay?" Man, his face pale and terrified, was about to respond when Mr. Ka suddenly shouted, "Someone's lying here! Here!" Right at the foot of the grave, a corpse was lying. Since when? "9:30 in the morning. Hao had just woken up after a restless night, haunted of the past. He was standing at the water tank brushing his teeth when he heard the gate slam open. Mrs. Hao rushed her bicycle straight into the yard with a panicked, flustered face, so much so that she dropped shrimp bag and water spinach bundle, spoon down to the ground. Hao rinsed his mouth quickly, ran over to help his mother with the bike. Hao immediately asked her, "Mom, what are you doing rushing? And the gate nearly gave me a heart attack." Mrs. Hao, looking around nervously, said to her son, "Again? Someone has died again? Oh, my son." "Who died, Mom? And where did it happen?" Mrs. Hao replied, "I don't know who yet, but it happened out at the cemetery. The police are all over, and there it is. Mom is coming home from the market and sees some people gathered gossiping. That's what they were saying. Hao, you must not go anywhere, okay? Definitely stay home for me. Someone died out at the cemetery again, and no one knows who it is yet." Hearing this, suddenly, Hao thought of Thuan. He stammered, "Oh no, could it be Thuan? Mom, after that I heard Thuan say that every night he had to be on guard duty at the entrance of the village. This isn't good. I have to go check it out." I suddenly feel really uneasy. As soon as he finished speaking, Hao ran off immediately, ignoring Mrs. Hao calling after him, trying to stop him. He ran straight to the bridge crossing over the canal, heading to the other side where the cemetery was. Just as the villagers had said, a large crowd was now all gathered on this side of the bridge. On the other side of the bridge, a few figures in blue uniforms be seen putting up barriers to prevent the villagers from crossing over. Gasping for breath, breathless, Hao asked Mr. Nan, standing and listening, "Uncle Nan, I heard that someone died at the cemetery again. Is that true, Uncle Nan?" Mr. Nan just turned around and replied, "I heard the same thing, but I haven't seen anything myself. We still don't even know who died. Look, the police aren't letting anyone cross the bridge." Hao tried to push his way to the front, but it was no use. The village courtyard was cramped, but everyone was curious, so no one could get across to the other side, the cemetery, and everyone lingered, waiting for news. About 5 minutes later, House saw Mr. Carr along with a police officer coming from direction of cemetery, stopping at the cordoned-off area. The police officer gave some instructions to a few other officers, then crossed the bridge with Mr. Carr to this side. The villagers of Phuong Bai started clamoring, asking, "Mr. Carr, what happened over there? Is it true that someone died? Who died? Come on, village chief, say something." Seeing that, Mr. Carr gave a slight nod. He asked everyone to stay calm and orderly, then said, "Everyone, please stay calm. For now, I can only confirm the deceased is not someone from Phuong Bai village. Also, this is not a pleasant matter for all gather here and cause disorder. The police are currently investigating and verifying everything. Now everyone listen to me, disperse and go back to your homes." Hearing that the cemetery in Phuong Bai village had already seen 3 deaths in the past few days. Aren't you all afraid? Yet you still come out here and even cross over to take a look. Go, check everyone out. Any information I have, I will just to let you know. Inform you later. Through Man, he also requested that the villagers not gather in large crowds to avoid interfering with the police investigation. The villagers, hearing what Mr. Carr said, began to feel uneasy. They started murmuring among themselves, "Another death, and again it's not someone from our village. Why do they keep wandering around our village cemetery and end up dying there? Could it be ghost guides or not? Really? Yeah, I heard it was because of the tree. They accidentally struck a cursed grave. Spirits take people won't stop soon. As some people might even say, more deaths mean longer life for Mrs. Van's husband. Speaking of which, since yesterday until now, 2 people have died, and strangely, none of it seems to have any link to Van's family tomb. Their family dug a grave. Now people die, and they still haven't shown up." Seeing Man intently and carefully listening to the villagers' quiet, whispered gossip. After the village chief and the police asked everyone to disperse, only then did the crowd start heading home. At least they felt relieved that the deceased wasn't someone from their own village. At that moment, Man said to Mr. Carr, "According to the forensic examination, this person died sometime between last night and early this morning. You mentioned our village assigned people to stand guard at the village entrance starting last night. While we wait to verify victims' identity, could you take me to the houses of young men? You take on another duty assignment." Mr. Carr nodded. In the evening, Lan and Thuan were on duty until midnight. "Let me take you to their houses." Comrade to their house, but at that time, there was a heavy storm with strong winds. I think they probably went home then. Let's go to their houses and ask. As they walked, crossing the bridge, Mr. Carr saw Hao waiting. That moment, Hao rushed over. "Uncle Carr, who's the dead person out at the cemetery, uncle?" Mr. Carr immediately replied, "We still don't know who it is yet. Why aren't you going home? Why are you still standing here? Aren't you terrified of these kinds of things?" Hao quickly answered, "Scared, yes, but when I heard someone died out at the cemetery, I went to check on Tuan. Tuan took over guard duty. I'm afraid of him. How convenient, so I boldly come out here." Mr. Carr continued, "It's not Tuan. He even came to my house this morning. I even lent him my bike to get to work. You're overthinking things. Just nonsense. Go home." Noticing that Hao was about to leave, Mr. Carr seemed to want to ask something, so he called out to stop Hao. Wait, Hao, do you know where Tuan's house is located? That kid is always out and about, so I don't remember. Met him yesterday at the party. Lan's house. Is it in the alley with the duoi tree? Elm tree. Hao immediately replied, "No." Up there? It's in an alley that's a bit winding. Up there. A slightly winding alley, near Ms. Tin's house. He and Ms. Tin are related. That airline. Uncle, let me take you there. Mr. Carr watched Man. Man nodded. Mr. Carr said, "All right, if you're going to lead, then lead me there. My mind's all muddled these days when it comes to houses. I can only vaguely remember which is which." Hao laughed and replied, "You're doing great already, sir. With so many houses and all this overgrown land. We used to hang out together when we were young, so some of us remember. But if you ask me about houses, I wouldn't know." So Hao led Mr. Carr, the village chief, and Man to the house of Mr. Tin, Lan's father. It was almost 10 o'clock, yet Mr. Tin's house was still tightly shut. Earlier, he hadn't been seen at the gathering either. A crowd had gathered outside the gate to gossip. Mr. Carr called out repeatedly, and it wasn't until the 3rd time that Lan finally cracked the door open to peek outside. However, he saw Mr. Carr with a police officer. Lan immediately slammed the door shut. Lan, it's Uncle Ka. Please open the door and let me come in and just say. Terrified, his face pale and stiff with fear. He thought Mr. Ka had brought the police to arrest him, so Lan didn't dare show his face, no matter how much Mr. Ka called out. Lan wouldn't open the door and stood still inside the house. What's going on? This kid? What's wrong with him? Mr. Ka wondered. Still not sure what to do, Mr. Thin returned. Come back, holding a fishing rod in one hand and a string of several large tilapia in the other. Each fish was just bigger than an outstretched hand. Seeing Ka there along with the police, he said, What are you people doing exactly at my house? Mr. Thin asked. Mr. Ka quickly replied, Good thing you're back. Uncle Thin, that boy Lan, something's wrong with him. We've been calling him, but he won't come out open door. He didn't even bother to answer. Not even a single word. At this, Mr. Thin frowned and cursed. Damn that useless boy. Kid, Mr. Ka comes over and he dares to act so disrespectfully? Let me in. I'll teach that brat. Definitely worth this one. Battle, he said in an angry voice. But when he crossed to Lieutenant Man, Mr. Thin sensed that something was wrong. Mr. Thin stammered. But why are the police here too? Is that it, sir? Are you planning to arrest my son? Or did he do something criminal, sir? Damn it, that brat. At that moment, Lieutenant Man spoke up. No, please don't misunderstand. There's been another incident in the village. So I came here, Ka, ask your son some questions about the guard duty last night. There's nothing serious. You can rest assured, Mr. Thin. Yes, of course. Please, officer and Mr. Ka, come inside while I call him out to just talk. Then Mr. Thin quickly rushed into the house, banged on the door and shouted loudly, Lan, open the door! You, what the hell are you doing? Open the door. Inside the house, Lan knew he couldn't run away anywhere and that trying to escape would only make things worse. So he decided to open the door. As soon as the door swung open, Lan burst into loud sobs. Uncle, please forgive me. I was foolish. It was all because of Phuong guy who lured me into it. I was wrong. Please, uncle, don't let the police arrest me. I didn't take anything. I didn't touch a piece of gold. Dad, please don't let the police arrest me. Dad? Mr. Ka looked at Man in bewilderment. Man also had no idea what was going on. What was this about? What was Lan so afraid of? However, there were many hidden layers in Lan's words based on this experience as a police officer. Man immediately asked, Gold? Are you talking about gold? Where is this gold? Having been interrogated before, Lan quickly confessed, It's the gold from Mr. Nan's house. But officer, that gold was taken by that guy. Tuan took it for me. I know nothing. Lan was telling the truth. Man frowned and quietly said to Mr. Ka, Looks like we're on the right track. Sitting inside the house, Lan recounted everything that had happened around midnight the night before. It all started when Tuan invited Lan to go up to the grave to Mr. Nan's house to find gold. Both afraid the ghosts of Mr. Nan and his son, and had to flee in utter panic. After hearing this, Mr. Thin grew furious, clenched his fist, then smacked his son straight on the head, then cursed, You worthless son, how dare you do a thing? Did you have any humanity left who does not? Mr. Ka had to step in to stop Mr. Thin. Uncle Thin, calm down. Hitting and cursing him won't solve anything right now. Youth is impulsive and thoughtless. We need to teach them patiently. Violence is not the way. A good method of education. Lieutenant Man also spoke up, advice looking at Lan. Lieutenant Man asked, So you found the pouch inside incense bowl at Mr. Nan's house? Are you sure that the pouch is that gold? Oh, Lan stammered. Me too. Completely sure, but based on the information from Tuan and from what Mrs. Thin said, Mr. Nan once brought a lump of gold to her house to have it checked whether it was real or fake gold. That's why I think gold is inside that bag has gold. Because if it isn't gold, why would Mr. Nan go to such lengths to hide it? Even concealing it inside the incense bowl, officer. I swear that I didn't take anything at all. Please don't arrest me. Man frowned, thought, then said, All right then. For now, we'll leave this matter as it is. According to what you said, that guy, Tuan, is the one holding the pouch. After getting the pouch, the two of you left Mr. Nan's house and didn't come back. A little bit of instinct. Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened. I swear, if I'm lying, may I go blind? Lan hurriedly swore. Lieutenant Man stood up and said, To verify this, now you will take me to the house of the young man named Tuan. We have to follow every lead carefully. Actually, the deaths aren't related to each other. However, with this detail, everything has indeed changed, and you have responsibility to testify what you said. I want you to come with us to Tuan's house. Do you agree? Lan nodded. Yes, sir, as long as you don't arrest me. Please, I'll testify or do whatever you need me to do, in any way possible. Leaving Lan's house, Lieutenant Man, Mr. Ka, and Hao followed Lan to Thuan's house. Thuan's family was quite ordinary. His parents were simple farmers. Thuan worked in district town, with help from an uncle who helped him get a job. He only came home once in a while. Each time, although the family was poor, Thuan had the habit of indulging in pleasures, spending whatever he earned. Many times, despite his reputation in the town and district, on the street, from the district back, but still full of bullshit, Thuan's parents were indeed very gentle. Living, staying private, participating in village affairs. As a result, Mr. Ka couldn't remember exactly where Chuan's house was. He walked down a narrow alley, past the house of a former lover, and then arrived at Chuan's house. Lan stood outside, then called out, "Chuan, Chuan." Hearing someone calling, a woman with a thin figure and disheveled hair, who was in the middle of scrubbing a basin of clothes, rushed out and asked, "Who's calling?" "Aunt Hien, it's me, Lan." Is Chuan home, Auntie?" Aunt Hien quickly wiped her hands on the hem of her shirt, walked closer to Lan, coughing heavily as she went, then answered, "You're here, child." Chuan left early this morning, around 5 o'clock. This morning he hurriedly gathered his clothes, saying he had to get to the district early for some work. That boy doesn't know how to think about his parents. Yesterday he said he would stay home for a few days, but this morning all of a sudden he just left. It's so hard. So what exactly do you need him for, child? Hearing Aunt Hien say that, Lan couldn't believe Chuan had left in a fit of anger. Lan, a bit blunt, said, a little rude, "You're lying, are you? Are you going to cover for him? Where did you hide the bag of gold?" Standing behind bamboo fence and spinach, Mr. Ka and Man were planning not to reveal them. But faced with Lan's attitude, both of them couldn't let Lan continue saying such inappropriate things, especially when looking at Mrs. Hien. Everyone could see that she was truly suffering and struggling. Lan shouldn't speak nonsense. Mr. Ka stepped out to stop Lan. Seeing Mr. Ka, they also noticed someone in a police uniform. The officer, Mrs. Hien, panicked. "Why, coming to my house like this?" Mr. Ka quickly replied, "Miss Hien, there's nothing going on. I came by to ask Chuan, who is on duty at the village entrance. So today I came to ask him a few things. But it seems he went up to the district already?" Mrs. Hien nodded. "Yes, he left early this morning." "Oh dear, could it be that my child did something wrong, and that's why you and the police came here? I wouldn't dare lie to you. If you don't believe me, please come inside and check." With that, Mrs. Hien unlatched the gate. As soon as it opened, Lan darted into the house, searching from the main house down to the kitchen, even checking the backyard. But indeed, there was no sign of Chuan. Lan ran to inform to Mr. Ka, "Uncle Ka, Chuan has run away." That is undoubtedly true without a doubt. Bastard Chuan wasn't home, so there was no way to investigate anything. Mr. Ka said a few words to reassure Mrs. Hien with Manlan Hao went to Miss Tin's. However, even after calling out from outside several times, there was still no sign of Miss Tin. The door was shut and the gate was locked from inside. Man then said, "Here's what we should do, Uncle Ka. Send someone over to Mr. Tin's house after Lan and Chuan and ask whether he was on duty at midnight. Does he work at night? And me? I'll go to Mr. Nem's to check Lan and Chuan." Hao immediately said, "Let me run over to Tin's house." Man nodded. Hao set off to find Tin, while Lan led Mr. Ka and Lieutenant find Tin. Lan and Mr. Ka, both Lieutenant Man, headed to Mr. Nem's house. On the way, Lan kept pleading with Mr. Ka and Man, "Please don't force me into Mr. Nem's house." Mr. Ka was scared too. He himself had also heard of Hao and Thuan, saw the shadowy figure of Mr. Nem sitting by the bridge in the evening. Meanwhile, Mr. Nem had already been dead for afternoon. Not to mention the body of the guy. It took a long time to get him out of the grave. Thinking sent shivers down spine. The scent just comes and makes my whole life cold back. However, Lieutenant Man requested Lan had to go in there to testify. Lan did not dare argue. Mr. Ka, carrying the village school stigma, the three of them, all together, stood at the gate of Mr. Nem's house. The gate was wide open. Both Lan and Mr. Ka were scared, too scared to step inside. Lieutenant Man ordered, "Go in first." The floor was covered with puddles of rainwater, large and small, scattered all over the yard. Noticed the house door. This door was closed. Lan remembered that last night, when he saw the ghost of Mr. Nem desperately clinging to the doorframe. The image. Then he saw the memorial photo of Little Nut. Suddenly, completely blocking the way. They ran, just ran frantically, fleeing for their lives. At that particular time, there was absolutely nothing left but Little Nut. So who closed the door? Could it be the ghosts of the father and son? Was it the ghost of Mr. Nem, the rain leaking, so he closed the door? Or was it simply the wind blowing it shut? Standing at the steps of the porch, Lan didn't dare to move forward. Mr. Carr swallowed hard, his mind conjuring up the image of Little Nut, smiling from within the photo frame, breathing heavily. Her limbs were trembling uncontrollably. Both hands gently pushed open the inner door. The hinges creaked loudly as the door swung open. Lieutenant Mann stood frozen in shock. In just a short morning, this was the second time the police officer had to witness yet another scene of death. Utterly horrifying. Right in the center of the house, facing the ancestral altar of Mr. Nem and his son, a pair of purple feet. The leaves on the trees were gently swaying in the soft, gentle breeze. Through the gap when the door was opened and the wind blew in, the breeze made the body hanging from the ceiling beam sway. Chuan quietly bowed in respect, with a gentle nod. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please. Below, there was a wooden chair toppled backward. There was also a backpack and a pair of shoes, black, neatly placed beside them. Turning his head back, he stepped aside to make way. His dazed eyes looked at Mr. Carr and Lan. Lieutenant Mann pointed at the body and asked in a trembling voice, "Is this Chuan?" "No, ghost, help me." Chuan had hanged himself inside the house of Mr. Nem. After a few seconds of standing frozen in fear, Lan suddenly pointed at the corpse and screamed in terror, his face pale, eyes wide open, staring at the altar. Sweat poured down like rain. Lan turned and ran away. He tripped over some puddles and fell hard. Lan got back up. Again, Mr. Carr called out after him, but Lan had already gotten up and continued sprinting away out of Mr. Nem's house gate. Standing at the threshold, Lieutenant Mann looked up at the corpse. The standard is hanging from the beam. His hands were stuffed into his pockets, barefoot, tongue out, head drooping, eyes wide open in ghastly stare. The house was so gloomy it sent chills down the spine. At a glance, anyone could tell this was a case of suicide. However, for those who had been tracking the clues and traces from previous incidents, Chuan's death, the previous incident was the death of Chuan. It was a death that was unexpected, shrouded in horror and sheer terror. Up until today, just ever since Nut died beneath grave at Mrs. Van's house in the Bai Hamlet, within just 3 days, there had already been 5 deaths. The deaths occurred one after another, mysteriously, with no signs of stopping. Stepping back out onto the porch, he walked over to where Mr. Carr standing, looking dazed. Lieutenant Mann immediately said, "Uncle Carr, I'll stay here at this spot. The bridge leading to the cemetery isn't far to the north. Go there and tell Mr. Dean to bring a cop and 2 militia members from the commune here." Mr. Carr nodded and hurried off immediately. Left alone, Lieutenant Mann circled the back of house where he saw 2 freshly made graves, one for Mr. Nem and one for Mr. Nem's son, placed right next to Nut's. The soil was still muddy because it had been raining heavily for the past 2 days. It wasn't just rain, it was heavy rain. He walked over to the window frame on the side of the house. The window was wide open. Looking at the bars, Mann was startled to see that on 2 of the bars, right in the middle, there were black marks as if they had been burned or scorched. A strong gust of wind blew, making the window to suddenly burst open. As the lightning flashed, he saw Mr. Nem standing outside the window, both hands gripping the bars. His eyes were glaring at him, filled with intense anger and frustration. Could it be that these black marks were... Mann speculated, recalling Lan's confession earlier that morning. The wind blew into the house and swept through the window frame, gusting straight into his face, startling Mann. Without a sound, the gust of wind made the beams creak as the corpse of Chuan kept swaying back and forth. The main door seemed to be drawing the wind in from outside, then letting it escape through the doorway window, causing the hanging corpse to occasionally sway from outside the window. Just looking in was enough to make Man's skin crawl. Everything seemed to be reenacting the scene described in Lan's story. Man felt like the ghost of old Nem standing staring toward the altar. Only this time there was one difference. Last night, Chuan was alive, searching for Fhuong, but now, although Chuan was still in the same spot, he was nothing more than a corpse hanging by the neck. Dead body in hanging position. Thinking, Man suddenly turned his head to look behind him, because just a moment ago in a fleeting instant, Man had the feeling that someone was standing right behind him. A chilling cold seeped through every pore, piercing straight into his brain, causing Man to recoil. The wind kept blowing and the creaking sound from the beam above grew louder and more urgent. The noose was slowly and steadily twisting as the corpse gently swayed in the direction the wind had previously blown. The dead man's face been turned toward the altar, but now, whether it was the wind or some other force acting upon the body, it came to a stop, facing directly toward the window. Man stepped back on the beam. The rope of the noose stopped twisting, and the wind also ceased, while the creaking sounds from earlier had. This situation is no longer the case. Something was dripping steadily, lightly onto the floor. It was coming from Chan's body. It wasn't blood. When it hit the ground, it splattered everywhere and was black in color. At first, it was just a drop or two, but after a while, the black liquid started falling more frequently at an increasingly dense rate. The black liquid flowed out from the eye sockets, nostrils, ears, and even from the mouth. The corpse lying on the floor was soaked and reeked with a strong stench. But before anything else, in sheer horror, Man continued to witness a terrifying scene emerging from the mouth of Chan. Something had just crawled out and dropped in the pool of black liquid, the floor beneath our feet that supports us of the house, pitch black like a lump of coal. Yet it stirred slightly. The croak of a frog echoed from within. That foul-smelling pool of black water crawling out from the corpse's mouth was a frog. At the same time, the corpse began to decompose, falling apart until only the human head remained, dangling alone. Hangman stood frozen in place, unable to blink the awful scene happening. The frog suddenly, in the pond, leapt up, heading toward the window frame. Its eyes gleamed with a blood-red hue that Man screamed really loudly as the frog was about to pounce. Hangman, what's wrong? Open your eyes. Come here quickly. Fill it in, please, Man. She gently patted both sides of Man's cheeks. Dien just called. Man? The guy saw himself sitting flat on the ground. In front of him was Dien. Man stammered. Dien, is that you? Yes, it's me. Man, why are you sitting here looking so dazed? Remember something? Man took Dien's hand and hurriedly stood up, glancing through the window frame. Inside the house, the corpse of the legs was still hanging from the beam. The floor was completely dry, with no black puddles at all. Man swallowed hard, unable to understand what was happening. He had no idea whether what he had just seen was real or just a dream. At that moment, Mr. Ka and two villagers came running over. Dien immediately said, Sir, I found him. Ka let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. I found him. Over there. When we couldn't find him, I thought something bad had happened. But why is the back of his pants so dirty? Dien was about to answer Mr. Ka's question, but Man spoke up first. It's nothing. The ground was slippery, so when I fell and hit my butt, I fell so hard that I hurt my butt. Was noticed by everyone. Don Man glanced over at Dien, signaling him to stay quiet and not say anything more. Dien understood and nodded. Back inside the house, after taking photos of the scene, Mana, along with Dean and two members of the local militia, proceeded to lower Chan's body down. Preliminary examination of the body removed two tables. Chan's hand came out of his pocket. His left hand hung limply, but the right hand was tightly clenched. In the right hand, a thin piece of rope. It stuck out in front of everyone. Man slowly pried open the fingers of the deceased. Inside Chan's right palm was a cloth pouch. Last night, the sugar taken from the incense bowl on Mr. Nem's altar was this pouch? May furrowed his brows, then softly asked, What pouch is this? Standing before Mr. Ka, Dien, along with two members of the local militia, Phuong, Man, held the small pouch and then continued answering, Yes, everyone here can bear witness. Now, we will see what is inside this bag. He carefully poured its contents into his palm. Man and Mr. Ka squinted to look. It was not what they had been exactly expecting. It was gravel. Why would someone put rocks into a pouch? He picked a stone and held it to examine it. Then he wondered aloud. That's right. The entire contents of the pouch are just gravel, not gold as Lan had claimed. At this point, Ka looked at Man and stammered, "How could it be rocks?" Man immediately replied, "We only heard it from Lan. Nga, who went with Chan, did not see what was inside the pouch. Gold was simply just an assumption, so we can't rule out the possibility that there was never any gold at all." Dien looked bewildered, not understanding what Man and Mr. Ka were talking about. Gold? He wondered if they thought there was gold in this pouch. Gold? Dien asked. Man put the pebbles back into the cloth bag, glanced around the house once, then looked down at Chan's body lying on the ground. At that precise moment, Man said to Dien, "In one morning, 2 more people have died. Things have gotten out of our control. We need to file a report and send it up to the district police, requesting assistance. The body of the deceased Phuong Cemetery, Phuong Beach, early this morning news." Dien quickly replied, "Yes, there is, sir. With the cooperation of the village security officers from neighboring villages, we have identified the identity of the deceased. His name is Ngodinsa, a resident of Phuong village, living alone without a wife or children, and his parents passed away a long time ago. His occupation was a fortune teller. A preliminary examination. The back of the victim's neck was found to be. The wound shows slight healing, splitting, as if caused by a sharp-edged object. It is highly likely that this was the cause of death. We are still awaiting the official results." Dien was still speaking when Man interrupted him. "All right, Dien, you stay in Phuong Bai village and coordinate with the comrades from the police, members from nearby villages, local militia forces, to ensure public safety and order for the villagers. Right after this, I will head to the district to seek further instructions." Looking at Dong Ka, Man continued, "Uncle Ka, for now, these details should not be made public or announced to the villagers to avoid causing panic among the people. Let the district police, District 2. Then there will be a method." Mr. Ka stammered in response. I understand." Man nodded. "Dien, you stay here. Do your best to guide everyone. I will return as soon as I can. I'm heading out now." Uncle Ka led Man back to his house, his relatives to get a motorbike. Without another word, Man and Mr. Ka left Mr. Nem's house, seeing her husband return in a panic, with a worried expression and fearful eyes. Then seeing the police officer hastily grab a motorbike and speed off, Mrs. Hong stepped closer, gently patting Mr. Ka's shoulder with a serious tone. Before she could ask anything, Mr. Ka suddenly jolted in shock. "Hey, what's wrong with you? Why does your face look like all the blood has drained from it?" Mrs. Hong asked. Since morning, Mrs. Hong had been at home chopping vegetables for the pigs, leaving her no idea that someone in the village had died. Not just one, but 2 people had died. Not wanting his wife to worry, Mr. Ka quickly replied, No, it's nothing. But listen, for now, you shouldn't go anywhere, alright? Just stay home. Whatever we have at home to eat, even just boiled vegetables with salt will do. Don't go anywhere. Remember that." Mrs. Hong listened, became even more curious. She pressed him further in a calm voice. "But what really is going on? It seems that since this morning, after you left the house, I heard noise outside, but I was busy chopping vegetables for the pigs, so I couldn't go out to see. Is there something happening, dear? You have to tell me so that I can be careful and stay alert," she reasoned. Mr. Ka decided to tell his wife. After all, if he didn't, sooner or later, Mrs. Hong would find out. Taking his wife's hand, Mr. Ka whispered, "This morning, in our village, 2 more people died. Among them, one was from the village of Phuong. The other was Chan, the son of Mr. Nem. I just saw him. Not long now he's been found hanged at Mr. Nem's house." Mrs. Hong's eyes widened, her mouth agape in shock. "What did you say? 2 more people dead? Chan? Oh my God, how could Mr. Nem end up like that?" "Really?" You watch your mouth. That's how it is. In just 3 days, 5 people died already in strange ways. And that's not all. The main reason I'm telling you to stay home and not go outside is because it seems like there's a murderer in the village." "A murderer?" Mrs. Hong immediately screamed out. Loud Mr. Ka quickly reached out to cover his wife's mouth, then frowned and said in a low, firm voice, "Quiet. I told you to keep your voice down. It's not completely certain yet. Anyway, while the police officers were talking, I just overheard that this matter is not simple at all. So don't go blabbing to anyone else. Stay put at home. Don't go anywhere. Phuong Bai village is a mess right now. There are a lot of issues. Anyway, I have to head out there to see what's going on. You just stay home, okay? Mrs. Hong tugged at her husband's arm and said, Hey, you should just stay home too. Let police handle matter of dead person. What do you even know to get involved? If something happens, it'll just bring trouble to me and our child. Tell the elders and the villagers to let you be. That village chief position you had before was fine. I still let you do the job of eating rice at home. Now, many scary things. You keep going back and forth for nothing, only to invite trouble upon yourself. Just listen. If you can't even take care of yourself, why are you worrying about everyone else? Mr. Ka had indeed thought about this. In fact, after burying his father, after helping bury Mr. Nem's son, Mr. Ka considered giving up his position as village chief. He was pressured by the elders, who kept introducing him, and the villagers kept grumbling. But if he quit now, what would he say? At the time when the whole village was confused and in turmoil, to ask to resign would seem cowardly. So, Mr. Ka continued to shoulder the burden, sighing heavily. Instant in time, replied. Even if I resign as chief now, I still have to go, ma'am. Up until now, I am the village chief. What do the police need? Then they came to me to ask. Not to mention, 2 of the 3 people who died recently, I was the first to discover it. What kind of... To be honest with you, I'm really scared too. Later on, at this age, it's the first time I've witnessed such terrifying scenes. Night, I even jolt awake in fear while sleeping, but what can I do? The elders trust me. The villagers have faith in me. If I quit now, how would that be any different? What? Failed them. She was also in her teens. Years too. A little longer won't make much difference. Life and death are destined and he wasn't evil. It's not like he would come back to harm, right? Thinking that helped him carry on. Mrs. Hong knew her husband's character well. She didn't try to persuade him further, just sighed and shook her head, silently understanding. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you absolutely want. Freely. Then Mrs. Hong headed down to the kitchen with the pot of pig feed steaming heavily. He watched her, a pang of fondness. 3 years she had been toiling day and night, raising their children and now raising pigs. She busied herself with all the household chores so that he could have time to take care of village affairs. Leading his bicycle out of the gate, Mr. Ka silently told himself, if Phuong Bai village can get through this disaster, if peace returns, I will step down as chief and stay home to raise pigs. Just as he reached the end of the alley, Mr. Ka saw Hao and Tin hurrying toward him. It seemed the 2 of them were about to head into his house to look for him. Seeing him, they rushed over, panting, and shouted, Uncle! Uncle! Ka, something terrible has happened. Uncle Ka, the Lan, Lan did it. What? Mr. Ka immediately stopped and asked. Hao was tired from running. Tin stepped in to speak for Hao, answered Uncle Ka's question. The Lan, he stabbed someone to death. Uncle Ka was shocked, pale. His mouth stammered. Tin, what are you saying? Lan, he stabbed someone to death? Both Hao and Tin nodded at the same time. Hao immediately replied, Yes, we saw it with our own eyes. He stabbed Miss Tin right there on the street, right on the road. I don't know what happened to it, but he didn't seem normal at all. After that, he even started laughing maniacally and kept shouting, My gold? Gold of the... Uncle Ka was startled when he heard that the victim was stabbed was Miss Tin, someone who was also involved in the matter concerning Chan and Lan. She had gone to Mr. Nem's house to look for gold. Everyone's face turned pale. Uncle Ka sweated as he realized that it seemed like everyone connected to Mr. Nem and his son ended up in trouble. People who had come into contact with what was called gold ended up badly. So Miss Tin is dead? Uncle Ka asked. Hao immediately replied, There was a lot of blood. The villagers took Miss Tin to the clinic. Okay, but I think it can't be saved. Where? Uncle Ka continued to ask. Did you also see that guy? What about Lan? Tin immediately replied. Lan, he ran away, uncle. No one could catch him. None dared chase him. He ran back to the village. One thing wasn't even settled yet. And another thing already came up. It wasn't even 11 a.m. yet, and everything was already in complete chaos. A person had died outside the cemetery. Someone hanged themselves. Someone went insane. Someone got stabbed. Phuong Bai village was shrouded in a gloomy mist, with bizarre deaths and horrifying events piling up, and no one knew where to even start to resolve them. Mr. Ka brought Hao and Tin to report to Dien, who was the person in charge of overseeing operations. Lieutenant Man was absent on the road. Mr. Ka told Hao and Tin, "I heard that Chan had hanged. She died in Mr. Nem's house." After listening, Hao asked for permission to go home, too scared to continue accompanying Mr. Ka. Tin also felt uneasy, but the police requested Tin for questioning to give a statement. According to the guard duty schedule, Tin was on duty after Lan and Chan's shift. This could very well be related indeed to the death of fortune teller Ngodinsa outside the cemetery area of Phuong Bai village. Based on preliminary estimates, fortune teller Sa died sometime during the night leading into this morning. Although Tin said he had slept at home last night. "I slept at home because it rained at 12 o'clock. Tin had planned to attend the event, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he ultimately decided not to go. The person is currently on duty, actively engaged in their responsibilities. At 11:15 a.m. the same day, in Phuong, Nghia, the news of fortune teller Cha's death at the Phuong Bai has literally spread to Phuong, Nghia. Along the alleys and streets, the villagers of Phuong Nghia buzzing about the news. "Hey, Uncle Tu, have you heard? Sin, what's going on? The old fortune teller from our village was found dead up in Phuong Bai village." "Oh, really? How did he die over there? Was it because of fortune telling? Was he beaten for fortune telling? 'Cause not clear yet. We only know that he died in the cemetery of Phuong Bai village. The police and militia from our village have been dispatched over. That's all." Just like that, the news quickly spread throughout Phuong Nghia village. At the roadside tea stalls, people were gossiping about all sorts of things. Old Za's death. "Who knows, he gathering evil spirits," he said. "They might escape and harm the village, harming the people. Could that happen to us too?" All this talk about evil spirits, some people believe and fear it. Poor Thatch, he tragically died for nothing. Just came back. There are still many things unclear, but if you don't believe it, you shouldn't say, or trouble might come from your own mouth. As for old Za raising evil spirits tending witch herbs, true. It's not for nothing that over the past few years, people from all over have flocked to him to have their fortunes told, make charms, and perform rituals for them. Another person unexpectedly came into the house and said, "I just remembered I heard that back in day old Za fled to Cambodia with his parents. Later on, both his parents passed away. As for him, he learned some skills in making charms and casting spells. That's why, returning to the village years ago, he started telling fortunes. You know?" The man who had just spoken earlier sneered, curling his lip. "It's all just old folks gossiping, getting all worked up. Has anyone actually seen the spirit soldiers? How to raise wormwood? How to cast charm? Make fuss? Most of those seers and spellcasters are just a bunch of con artists. Vulgar, full of lies, and scammers." The owner of the tea shop gently said, "Mr. Thak, what you're saying isn't entirely correct. There are things. It's not always like that. There is no visible. But if everyone could see spirits and ghosts, then what would make them spirits and ghosts anymore? As for me, honestly never seen ghosts or spirits, those near death saved by Master Za, regaining their health and strength that I have seen. And not somewhere far away, but right here in our own village, for sure." "Who?" The woman named Thash jerked her chin and asked, "Who, huh? Come on, tell us. Let's hear it." The owner of the tea shop immediately replied, "You know Mrs. Han who sells drinks under the kapok tree? Her house is near Old Sa's place, just across a pond. 2 months ago she fell very ill, but Old Za used a talisman or magic and Mrs. Han recovered. Then her daughter just suddenly..." As he was speaking, the shop owner suddenly stopped talking. "Thatch, why did you suddenly get so tense? You were telling the story so choppily. The shop owner jerked his chin, then pointed behind him. Few customers, 3-4 of them who were sitting and drinking, turned their heads to look. The person walking toward them at that moment was none other than it was Fhuong, Mrs. Han's daughter. Among the group, only one person like this guy Thatch was staring intently at Fhuong. As for the others, once they saw her, they turned away, fell silent, and didn't dare make a sound, say another word. "Oh my God, how could it?" Thatch was exclaiming when his mouth was quickly covered by Bem's hand. Bem quickly covered his mouth. Fhuong was holding an umbrella, even though it wasn't raining, nor was the sun too harsh. She hurriedly walked past the refreshment stand, her face lowered, not daring to look at anyone. But it seemed like everyone in the village was afraid of Fhuong. As for Thatch, he was new to the village, just back from wandering. It was only a few days ago when the events that we are discussing took place. Just a bit earlier, thank you to our dear audience for tuning in. We respectfully bid you farewell and look forward to seeing you again in the next exciting episode of the story,